Hello Jags fans and welcome back to Series 2 of the official Partick Thistle Football Club podcast as we chat to another 6 key figures from the men's first team at the Wire Stadium at Firhill. Once again, we've been let loose here in the top floor at Firhill thanks to our friends at the podcast rooms, proud supporters and partners of the PTFC podcast. Today's episode is also in partnership with the 2024-25 Partick Thistle men's team season ticket campaign and fan base, where you can get your season ticket literally in less than a minute with a few simple clicks. Secure your seat today and let's get the old place bouncing when the action returns. One man who knows Firhill better than most is today's guest, a bona fide Partick Thistle legend, Hall of Famer with 15 years and more than 400 appearances under his belt. It's the warmest welcome to the man we know and love as Banzo, Stuart Bannigan. Stuart, we needed a big hitter to kick off season 2, so huge thanks to you and welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Welshie boy. We must be struggling a bit, is it? Was it 6 people in the first one, was it?
Yes, we started and finished strongly with some great characters in the middle, so it was a strong first
Who
series.
was the characters in the middle?
So your good friend, obviously, first and foremost, Mr. Lawless. We'll come back to him later.
Ayr
was there.
Must be struggling. I came in for that one, didn't I?
You did.
For 2 minutes.
You did.
Try and lift him up a
bit. But thanks for coming along today. Welcome to the podcast. And first and foremost, how's the summer been?
Been pretty quick. I've just got a new puppy, a new dog. So been pretty hard work with that. She's only 14 weeks, so I got her when she was 8-9 weeks. So been pretty tough. My fiance is a teacher, so I've kind of had her all day from like 7 till she's back for work at 4. So pretty tough going, but I'm actually happy to be back. Gives me a bit of a breather.
Stuff, right? Give the people what they want. Breed, name, the puppy.
It's a black lab. Her name's Annie. So
nice. Any inspiration behind the name?
Just a lot of so my mum's Carol Ann, my grand's Anne, Kathleen, my fiance, her middle name's Anne as well. So there's a lot of Anne connotations.
Stuart Bannigan.
Stuart Bannigan. There you go.
There you go. It can only get better from here. Pre-season. What number is this for you? 6?
I don't know. The boys were. Funny you said that. Boys were asking me that the other day. I think it's 16, but the boys will also say I've probably only done about 4 of them.
What is it seriously? What is it like for you now attacking a pre-season? Is it any different from previous years? What
I think what it is, you look at it. I look at it sort of looking back towards me as a young player. You're into the unknown when you're a young player, so a lot of it's fresh, and you're probably worried about things, just getting through it and stuff like that. But when you're a lot older, you know how to take care of your body, how to get through it. And it's just basically about trying to stay fit for as long as you can, because you get your fitness during the season as well. So it's not like a thing I worry about now. I just get on with it, and the good thing is it's pre-season isn't as long as it used to be. It used to be probably 6 to 8 weeks of real hard work. Now you're into games pretty quickly.
Yeah. Clearly, as always, a few new faces in the dressing room. Recruitment appears to have been excellent so far. How are they fitting in?
Brilliant. A few of the boys had been here anyway before, so they knew a lot of the players. But it's probably been the biggest squad we've had at this time of the season in a long time. So pretty good for that sort of sense, getting the team gelled together.
Good stuff. Right. How do we chat through 15 years and 40 minutes or so? I don't know. It's got off to a really smooth start up here a moment ago setting this up, but let's avoid the commonly asked questions and try and go elsewhere. But in fact, what are the questions you're most commonly asked by fans?
Probably quite a lot about the injury, probably. The promotion season, probably stuff like
that. Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and avoid...
listen, answer away whatever you want to do.
I was going to say we'll try and avoid giving James Craig all the glory again, because he seems to grab it all, doesn't he?
I know, Craigsy. I know he got married a couple of weeks ago, so congratulations to him and his missus.
Congratulations indeed. Right, let's start by rewinding from 31-year-old Banzo, still a young man with plenty of seasons in the tank, but as has been tradition, talk about little Banzo growing up. When and how did you first fall in love with football?
Well, I probably played pretty late. 8-9-year-old. I went to a team called Rosville, just over in Bishop Briggs, and I remember going up there, and it's a whole sort of different sort of feeling, a nervous feeling into that sort of first couple of games, sessions, where you go in, it's just a brand new feeling. But I do remember the first couple of games, and you were terrified turning up to games, and it was a whole new experience. But I played for Rosville for a year and a half, and then went to Hearts for a short spell at about 10, 11 years old. and then on to Celtic for 4 or 5 years at youth level.
Were you always in the centre mid at that point?
No, I wasn't Welsh, no. I was more of a sort of left or right midfielder, believe it or not. No pace, no skill, don't score many goals. So I think they quickly knew, get me in the middle where I can maybe do a wee bit better.
That all changed, obviously. And what was the pathways from school and boys club to professional football, if you like? How did you make that step from playing for a boys club to ultimately signing pro terms?
Well, it was pretty quick, mate. It was like I was only at Roseville for a year or so until Hearts came and picked me up. But again, you're only 10-year-old. You don't really know anything at that time. It was more when I went to Celtic at 11, 12, where you're into a sort of proper academy. And I was there for 3 or 4 years and had some amazing times looking back where you get to go on some trips of a lifetime. Actually drop a wee bomb in there. I met Maradona and Pele at Qatar. They opened the Aspire Academy out in Qatar. So I was there at under 14s and they opened it. So I've got a picture in my house, me next to Maradona.
Oh, we need to see that.
I'll bring it in.
We'll get that. Try and get that edited in. If not, we'll get it up on the website. What did you?
I didn't. Just truth be told, you obviously know him, but you don't really. I was only 14, 13 at the time. You probably don't realise how big a figure he is now. Now that I've watched all his documentaries, everything about him, you realise probably one of the best ever and an absolute character.
Did you get a chance to see him?
No, not at all. Nah, you're in a team sort of format.
Yeah.
So he was getting really properly hounded. There was obviously, I think we were over there for a tournament, so there was easily 8-10 teams. You imagine the amount of people there as well, parents, things like that. So he was hounded, but I managed to get right next to him for the picture. So
I did read when he passed away the picture of Stuart
Bannigan
as well. But I mean, he's an obvious hero for a lot of people. Who were your own heroes, kind of?
Oh, I loved the Arsenal team, seeing the early 2000s. Oh, mate, amazing. Henry, Perez, Vieira, Lundberg, all the guys. I just loved them. See when they were the Invincibles, and I think they won the league 2002 as well.
Petit and Vieira, that was a midfield, wasn't it? Amazing. You look back now, I look at some of the old games, and the games are completely different. You see the games in the Euros now, quite tactical, isn't it? A lot of, and listen, they're unbelievable players, but it's just a different game back then. Back then, it was more you attack, we attack, and it was a bit more excitement. Yeah. I saw Perez play against Partick Thistle, do you know that?
No way.
Mets away in 96.
Oh, was that
he
the
played
trip?
for them, so there you go. Only got beat 1-0, did well.
Oh.
What about other key influences, coaches, teammates and family? Who were the key people for you?
Oh, listen, you've always got your mum and dad to thank more than MD. You know, they take you, it was 3 nights a week most of the time, and a game on a Sunday. So, without them, you just couldn't do it. And they're, you're thinking now you're an older man. They're working all day as well, and then they take you to train at night. They're up again in the morning. So without them, you just couldn't do anything. So, they were magnificent. Probably in a football sense, probably one of the most important. You probably will know him, Welsh, Ian Cameron.
Yeah,
he was unbelievable for us at under 17s when I went to Thistle for the first time. He was just such a, I don't know, he had an aura about him where you were scared of him a wee bit, but you respected him so much, and he was so good at getting you to, I don't know, just that feeling that you wanted to play well for him, one of the guys. And he done such a good job at that under 17s team. I think 6s ended up actually playing for Thistle's first team, which is an amazing achievement, really. I think we won the 19s Youth Cup as well. He was probably, in a football sense, one of the most important, at a crucial time as well, when I'd left Celtic at under 15s. They felt the jump for, it was 15s to 17s. That was probably too big a jump. For me, I was quite small back then. They felt I wasn't ready for that. So I kind of fell away from it a wee bit. And that was the guy I needed to push me on a wee bit, I think.
Yeah. As a cultured, left-footed central midfielder, did you appreciate how good a footballer he was, or was it just a pure coaching relationship?
Pure coaching. I'd obviously heard that he was a brilliant player and was a left-footer as well. But just as a man as well, just a brilliant person. I've actually not seen him in a long time, but when I do see him, I'm pretty sure I'll give him a hug.
Absolutely, lovely stuff. What was the breakthrough moment that you knew, I'm going to make a career out of this? Was there one?
No. Honestly, you're always thinking this might be it. Honestly, unbelievable. Just every year you're trying to push on. I think maybe when you get to a certain stage, 23, 22, 23, 24 maybe, where you've played 100 odd games, you might think then, I've done all right, but you can never rest, really, because there's people coming in to try and take your place all the time. So, no, I never thought I would make it. I honestly never. I thought never really had much in terms of physicality. I didn't think I was great, like technically, even shooting wise, long range passing. Honestly, I'm not just saying this. I genuinely don't think I'm that great a player, but I had a pretty good mindset, I felt.
Well, Scotland recognition, over 400 appearances, multi-title winner. Safe to say you've made it. The Partick Thistle Youth Academy, formerly the Thistle Weir Youth Academy, obviously a huge part to play. You don't need to look far in the club to see its impact at the moment, and you're the ultimate case study. How important was the academy for your journey to first team football?
It was everything for me. I think Thistle was the absolute perfect club for me without me even realising. I think if I'd stayed at Celtic or teams like that, you sometimes get lost because there's so many different players, and you'd probably need to be an absolute superstar to break through into Celtic's first team from a youth level. So I think being at Thistle, getting the ground in there and getting the opportunity, it's all about getting an opportunity. And I was lucky enough, timings were right for me. Very lucky in a lot of stages of my career. So I think you need a wee bit of help along the way, definitely. A bit of timing, and when you get the chance, you need to grab it.
Yeah. You were obviously a relatively local boy, so it's a local team for you. But Partick, before you joined Partick Thistle, what was your experience at Partick Thistle, if any?
Believe it or not, I'd actually been to quite a lot of games. One of my mates in primary school, his name was Callum Monroe. He was Thistle daft, went to all the games, so he used to take me sometimes. I remember games, it was Thistle v Clyde. Who was the guy who played for Clyde? Was it Lee Hines? Was that him?
Lee Hines, wow, I do remember the name.
I'm pretty sure he played with Clyde and he scored a few against Thistle. But I remember going to a few of their games, and just brilliant being at a stadium and something a bit different. So I had been to Firhill a few times.
Banzo's a jag, it's official. It's official. Obviously, at the start of your career with Thistle, you benefited from going out and loan. A key season for you. It went very well. I think 24 appearances, 4 goals, and up through the playoffs.
Yep, that was amazing. Yeah. That was Ayr United. I remember getting a phone call. Ian McCall on the Wednesday. I was only 17 at the time, so I didn't know anything about anything really. And they phoned me and he went, "You're going to Petershill the night, 7:30," because Ayr United were only part-time at the time, but they were only in the league below, so it was a pretty good move for me in terms of, it wasn't that much a step down, and Ayr were kind of pushing for the promotion playoffs. He said, "You're going to Petershill the night at 7:30," and I'm too scared to even ask, like, what or how or why or anything. I just went, aye. And I turned up, and luckily I knew one of the boys in my 17s team, Jonathan Baxter. His older brother, Dean Keenan, he played with Ayr, so I kind of knew him, and he settled me in. But they had a lot of characters, a lot of big personalities. Mark Roberts, Scott McLaughlin, Dean Keenan, Andy Rogers, Jim Laughlin, just so many. Ryan McCann, who was here, were brilliant for me. Alan Troughton. So I had some amazing players, and they really helped me settle in. But again, you're turning up at a team like that, and you don't know anything. You're just playing off the cuff. And I'm lucky again, I get a chance to actually play. And we ended up getting promoted, so it was brilliant.
You were, what, 17 at that point, were you?
17, I was just about to turn 18. Yeah. So 17 was my first couple of games, then 18. So
how did they treat you? I mean, you talked about that's quite a lively dressing room. What was it, arm around the shoulder and a bit of tough love?
Well, I remember, I always tell Ryan McCann was helping out with the youth team for a few years here. He was a midfielder, but a brilliant player. My first game was Dumbarton away, and I don't give myself much credit, but I actually thought I had a pretty good game that day for my standards. So I must have played well if I thought I had a decent game. And but we went down to 10 men after 20 minutes. We ended up, I think, just getting beat 3-2. That was my first game, and I'm thinking, right, that's the start you need. You need that wee bit of. I always feel when you come in as a young player, you need, first of all, to get the respect of your teammates, first and foremost. They need to trust you to play. A lot of times, young boys will come in, they might know, do the business early on, and older senior pros will maybe look at it and go, they're not quite ready yet. Yeah. But I felt I came in, I hit the ground running. I had a good game that day. But Ryan McCann, went completely off his nut at me, like after the game, because I tried to, the ball broke in the middle of the park, and I've tried to like scoop it over a player rather than go for a tackle, and the boys kind of went through me. They had a shot and nearly scored. That was like a moment. I thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't you ever pull out tackles ever again." And I remember being like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Because I actually thought I played well, but just shows you he had standards. And I maybe took it too far further in my career with some Reds.
Well, you playing centre mid for over 400 games. You're going to pick up
I
a
know,
one or two, but
right.
I think you pulled Ryan up about that one, have you?
I know I said to him, but he was a guy that was a competitor. So you take the wee nuggets and you don't take it as a guy's personal. He's trying to help you out.
So you proved yourself in the Ayr United dressing room and loan. How did you prove yourself as in the Thistle dressing room before that? Obviously, the season we will talk about in a moment.
Well, I came back, so we get promoted with Ayr. I came back, and maybe naively, I'm thinking, I want to be playing now for Thistle. And it just didn't happen for me, one way or other. It didn't happen that next year. I think it was Jackie McNamara, his first sort of full season. And I just remember just being a bit gutted with it all, not really getting a chance. Again, playing more left midfield, therefore. It's not really my position, really. I was coming on maybe 20 minutes to go. I think I started one game I think it might have been Livingston. Didn't do great, but I thought maybe I'd done okay just to start the next game. And it was one of the ones when you're a young boy, if you don't play that well, sometimes you get taken out the next game. And I felt that was always happening to me. I was coming in and getting taken out, wasn't quite getting a run of games. And that's when we talked about luck. You need major luck in your life, and I get a major slice of luck with Aaron Taylor-Sinclair. He was probably one of the best left backs in the league at that time. I think he tore his hamstring or pulled his hamstring with 6 weeks to go of that season. And I get put in at left back and played the last 6 games at left back. And I think that's when the manager maybe thought I could trust him to actually be a starter and play. And then for then on in the next season, that's what pushed me on. So you need a wee slice of luck. If I didn't get that luck, who knows?
And that set the platform for
a
season that's still celebrated to this day. We could talk it to death. We could talk about the Morton game, the James Craig, and we could talk about several of the drubbins we handed out there day away. We could talk about Big Arrow's header in the Ramsden's Cup final. I'm going to read, I looked up Wikipedia, which is always a reliable source. I'm just going to read you this paragraph, which is a bit obscure.
Right.
In a match against Falkirk on 27th of October 2012, Bannigan suffered a leg injury in the first half and was substituted. 48 hours later, Bannigan revealed he passed his driving test.
What's going
on there?
Have you not seen the paper? I'm in the paper. I don't know why I agreed to do it. I passed my test 40 hours later, but I was to put the moon boot on. So I had to take the moon boot off to do my test, right? But somehow, somebody at the club had found out. So they made the press come in. And I'm stood next to a Ford Fiesta or something. And I'm like, got my moon boot on. It's embarrassing. There's a picture of it somewhere.
Things you used to get away with.
I know, exactly. But see, now if somebody said to me, do you want to do that for the paper? I'd have been fucking
no chance. What would I mean, encapsulating that season, because it's remarkable and it is still rightly celebrated. Thistle's 7th title win in their history. What does stand out for you looking back at this point?
Truthfully, mate, just the friendships you get really for it. Obviously, there's amazing moments and some of the last minute winners. I think the one at Airdrie was amazing. Just the 2 late goals, Conrad and I think it was Christie. So some unbelievable moments, and again, my first proper season for Thistle, playing every week. It turns out to be a magic season. But it's the friendships which still speak to all the boys, and they came back for my testimonial. And you see when we're all together, we all went out for a drink after the game, and it's as if we've never left each other, really.
I was going to just touch on that testimonial, a really special day, obviously 10 years down the line, but seeing all those people back, and a lot of people came a lot of distances as well. That must have been an incredible feeling.
Amazing. I've got the picture in my house of all the boys that came, and really thankful to them for doing that. It was great seeing them all again, because you see them all maybe individually at certain times, but seeing them all in a group together and the camaraderie and the banter going again, that was brilliant.
Who are you tightest with in that group that's left the club? Because there's obviously still a few hanging about.
Probably Welsh, James Craig, still speak to them, Stephen O'Donnell. Trying to think if I forgot him. No, fought with me. Foxy, speak to Foxy every now and again. Who else is in that team? That's probably Conrad. Big Conrad.
Would you have chucked Sod in the Scotland squad in the summer?
I would have, aye.
Aye.
I would have. Reliable, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
I mean, he stepped up in the biggest game against England at Wembley. Probably one of our better players that day. So, but I think he was just unfortunate that he wasn't maybe playing as much as he'd hoped this year. And unlucky to miss it.
So your career has started very well with a promotion and a title, and then you're a Premiership footballer. The Premiership years, dream scenario for you. Well, again, just we could talk about them all day, but what are your standout memories from that period?
Oh, just so many. Just playing at all these amazing stadiums and against the best sort of players in this country. Anyway, testing yourself, and I felt we dealt with it pretty well. I mean, I say this quite a lot, and it's not been trying not to be arrogant, because I'm not an arrogant person, but I feel the higher you step up, sometimes it can be a bit easier, and that sounds ridiculous for some people, but it is pretty tough the further down you go.
Yeah.
I feel up the levels, they give you a wee bit more respect, you get a bit more time in the ball. It's kind of you go, we go sort of thing. So I always felt I was pretty suited to playing in the Premiership. And we had some brilliant performances. First year we went up, we probably didn't win as many games as we like, but some of the performances were absolutely brilliant. I mean, battering teams, like big teams, Hearts, Hibs, teams like that, playing some brilliant stuff. And then I felt we got progressively better each year, which was good. So no, they were absolutely brilliant times.
Yeah, and along with that came Scotland recognition. I mean, something you can always have in your CV and look back on with pride. Well, tell us a wee bit about those caps for the under-21s.
Well, I never played any level at Scotland at all. Didn't think I was good enough, truth be told. I get the phone call, I think for Jackie McNamara, saying you're going to be in there, you and Sod, Stephen O'Donnell are going to be in the squad. We played Greece away, my first game. I couldn't believe it, delighted. So I wouldn't play, probably just go and be a part of the squad. Ended up starting. I think I might have played the full game against Greece. We drew away. Then I played a qualifier, I think it was Luxembourg. I think we won 3-0. And then the dreaded England game, played England. Out of depth.
Some opposition that, though.
I know. Have you seen the team, England's team?
Give us a taste.
Well, Kane, Raheem Sterling, Redmond, John Joe Shelvey, Barkley, John Stones, Butland. That's only to name 7 or 8. Unbelievable team. But I remember playing it. I was doing in Sheffield United's ground and buzzing to be starting. And I felt the first half wasn't much in it. Truthfully, they scored for a long, I think it was a long ball. I think we were 2-0 down at half time, but no actually getting a doing, if you get me. In the second half, they just, wow. And that just shows you the level. Like, I was playing in the Scottish Premiership at the time and completely nowhere near it. Like, they were faster, stronger, and just brilliant players. But it was a good experience out with the scoreline, an embarrassing scoreline, but still great to have 3 under-21s caps.
Of course. Did you get a shirt?
No, I've never asked for a shirt.
Never? Well,
never. Don't know why. Just know my thing.
Too modest and humble.
Don't know. A lot of the boys speak about it. Big Waz speaks about it quite a lot. Big Tommy, they swap shirts all the time.
Yeah.
But
not for you.
Not for me.
Not after us. Anyway. Talk about the Greece away, because that's interesting. Did you room with Sod? Or who,
I did.
Did you?
I Sod. I was quite lucky that I had him, because to be fair, I knew a few of the boys anyway for playing against them. But it's good having somebody you know in that sort of comfort blanket, really. But it was a good trip. I think we were away for 7 days. Police escort to the ground and everything. Mental. For a 21s game. But I think it was 0-0 or 1 each, if my memory serves me correct.
Okay. What was it? Just preparing for that, because you're going into the complete unknown. What surprise you, or what? Talk us through the experience of just approaching that camp, if you like.
You're absolutely buzzing from when you get told, because again, you're like, I can't believe this. Like, never thought it would happen to me. And this sounds bad, right? But I didn't really enjoy it.
No.
Being away so we were I think we played a double header. In fact, it would have been probably Greece and might have been Luxembourg.
Was Luxembourg away or home?
Home. It was at St Mirren. And I think we were in the Beardmore Hotel in Clydebank. for 10 days, but will she?
Wow.
And listen, this sounds as if I'm like moaning about being in a hotel, right? But it was boring.
A lot of dead time.
Aye. It was rubbish. I just didn't really enjoy it.
Playing Snake on your Nokia.
Oh, rubbish. Honestly,
back in the day, innit?
I know. It sounds bad now, and maybe thinking about it, we maybe should have done more as like a group in that, because a lot of boys go back to your rooms and stuff like that. But I didn't quite enjoy it.
Things have maybe moved on. That things are put in place for
Aye,
table tennis, starts, all that.
Aye,
so.
there wasn't. To be fair, there honestly wasn't that. I felt like you were just going back to your room, training in the morning, a bit of lunch, back to your room. You're there for 4 or 5 hours at a time. So it was a long slog, but I'm glad I got 3.
Yeah. And have you got any keepsakes from those 3 caps?
I've got my shirt. Pretty sure I've got my first shirt against. No, I got my one against Luxembourg. I'm pretty sure I've got that now somewhere. So very good.
Beautiful. Right, you said you were asked a lot about the injury. What I'm going to do is just ask you about your experience of your injury, how it made you feel, how you recovered, and maybe just use what Steven's going through at the moment, a different type of injury, but a long-term injury,
Yep.
and how your experience might help him, because you're obviously really close mates. So looking back now, how did you find the strength to get through it? Not just the physical recovery, but the mental recovery?
That was probably the hardest thing, the mental side of it, and proper trusting it when I get back. But it was tough, mate. Really, really tough. It was just so many sort of muck-ups, really. Some of them my own fault as well. I should have been strong enough to say it wasn't right. So basically, just a quick breakdown it. I got injured at Tynecastle. They thought I got a scan, but they thought that I could have got away with not getting surgery, basically. It was called a partial tear, right? They thought I could have maybe get away without getting the major reconstruction of my knee. So obviously I'm quite a crucial point in my career. So I'm thinking, I obviously don't want surgery. So I'm thinking, like, this is quite a good thing here. But you do rehab for 2 or 3 months to try and build it back up again. We end up getting to June, July, and I'm thinking, this still isn't right. And I knew it wasn't right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're too scared to, you know what I mean? And it's bad. Listen, see now, at my age now, I'm saying straight away.
You're yelling at young bands or saying...
Straight away, I'm saying, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And I'm probably getting the surgery at 2 weeks after the March, and I'm back for that Christmas or whatever. But I'd let it drag out for 4 or 5 months, then get the surgery, miss that full next season. And then it was a complication as well. I couldn't straighten my knee out properly. And it was basically a bit of hardened blood that was stuck in the back of my knee. And I couldn't get full extension on it. So that put me out again for another wee while. So I ended up missing basically 2 full seasons. And I remember as well, this was a shocker. I ended up, get back, would have been the 18-19 season. It would have been. We just went down. So we went down the year before. That was another thing. She's sitting watching us getting relegated and that. It was just wanting to be out there and help the boys and just gutted. But I'm in my own journey to try and get back. And then all of a sudden I come back and we're in a different league and it's just like, oh, no way. Yeah. But we came back and I'd done the full pre-season. So I'm thinking, this is right good. I'm building myself up. And no joke, right? We played, my memory's quite good in this. We played Steny on the Saturday, right? Remember Shea Gordon scored 2 within like 4 minutes? Remember that game? Yep. The Tuesday before that. So I'd done 3-4 weeks of pre-season. And we'd done a double session a Tuesday at the science parts. And just a simple pass down the line. I went to try and keep it in. And I felt like my knee like snapped. Or like, no snap, but like I felt like something, right? I was like, no way. So came in to see the physio. He's like, listen, we just need to let it settle down for a couple of days. I remember sitting in my car at science parts for about 45 minutes. Nothing, no music, nothing. Just sitting there thinking, well, see if I'd done my knee then, that was my career.
Over.
Done.
Wow.
Done. That'd have been another year. That'd have been me 3.5 years out. You don't come back for that. So I was sitting there thinking, this is probably me. But then at the same time, you don't know what you're going to do with your life. So it's a real hard situation to try and get through it. Yeah. Lucky for me, and I don't know, nothing happened. It was a wee bit, I think I jarred it a bit, right? But I genuinely believe I crunched my knee back into place. And that might sound, honestly, that might sound ridiculous, right? And it might just be for my peace of mind. I genuinely felt like something like crack or like pop a bit. And I don't know if I've popped it back into place. It sounds ridiculous, but maybe in my own head, that's just what I feel. And I was back 6 weeks later. I think we played Queen of South at home, played last 20 minutes, and then starting again. And then touch wood.
Was that the only time you thought it was over, or did you think it was over during the...
It's hard. During it, I didn't, because you're too busy trying to worry about getting back, and I still had a contract. But that year, the other thing that added to it was basically I was in I think it was a month-to-month deal at that point, or it might have been a 3-month maximum. So I had no security at that point. The time I talk about when I thought I'd done it again. So it was all a thin line, right in the balance of whether I was going to still play football or not. And lucky for me, managed to pull through it.
Yeah. And well documented that you were maybe on the verge of a move to another club.
Yep.
You know, how close was that? And
pretty close.
Yeah.
Aye, pretty close. I could have signed a few pre-contracts. I met the Barnsley manager. I went down there and spoke to him. Met Derek McInnes at Aberdeen. Spoke to him. They were keen to sign me. But I wasn't to be at that point. And you just need to crack on. That's all you can really do. You're absolutely gutted with it. You're thinking, the old classics, why me and all that sort of stuff. But you've just got to get your head down and crack on. And some people don't make it back, so you've got to look at the positive side and say, I came back and I've still played a couple hundred games more.
You're good pals, obviously, on the road to recovery at the moment after a bad one in April, but his path seems to be a bit clearer than perhaps yours was. But how have you helped him during the process so far?
Oh, listen, Stevie's strong enough to deal with himself. I'm pretty sure of that. And I think he'll be back sooner than what a lot of people probably think. Still close to the 9 months, I think, but I think he'll be just before that, just with his attitude. And he's one of the guys that just gets on with it. But I was gutted for him. He texted me after the game saying that's my season done. And I was like, I thought he'd maybe tore his hamstring or something, because I wasn't at that game. I took my calf. I wasn't at the Dunfermline game. And he says, no, I think I've snapped my Achilles. I was like, oh, Jesus. He sent me it and watched it back, and it's such a strange thing. He does that 20 times a game, 30 times a game, stepping inside. It just shows you. See, when your luck's not in, your luck's not in. And I just try and keep him upbeat. But he's an upbeat guy. And listen, he's probably just as gutted as I was. You maybe keep the things to yourself, and maybe when you're yourself, you're a wee bit down about it. But he comes in and he cracks on with his rehab. So fingers crossed he'll be back just before the new year.
Absolutely. You touched on relegation. You then saved us from further relegation, a penalty down at Palmerston. Your Thistle career has been an upward trajectory, a rocky road, and now we're hopefully on another upward trajectory. But that coming out of the Premiership, nearly coming out of the Championship, then been, voted out of the Championship, if you like, and then the pandemic, the most bonkers period. You could not write it. What was going through your head when all that was going on, especially the period, the summer of discontent when all the votes were going on and we went to court, weren't really sure when we were going to come back and play football. It took until October. The most weird time for a professional footballer, I guess.
So strange, mate. I admit. That's me just getting back to playing as well, really, properly playing. And I'm thinking, like, any chance of a wee bit of luck here? You know what I mean? Like, I've ended up getting back playing. I'm thinking, brilliant, get myself going again. And you're demoted into League One. I'm thinking, 3-4 years ago, I was playing the Premiership. And now I'm in League One. And then you get a lot of the group chats, you're getting the text, by the way, we're taking it to court and all this. And you're thinking, maybe we've got a chance. And it just never happened. But I don't even really want to touch on it. It's an absolute disgrace. It's getting relegated with an extra game in hand is just completely ridiculous. And there was plenty of ways they could have dealt with that. And the fact we get demoted down, I believe we said relegated because I'm not putting it as a relegation in my CV. The fact we get demoted down was pathetic, really.
We'll put the silver lining on that cloud by saying you won your second Championship medal with the club in season 2021. a weird season, but we'd be doing a disservice not to talk about Ian McCall's role in your career, going back to the very start and then during that rebuild of Thistle, if you like. He's been instrumental in so many parts of your career. What do you say about the unique man that is Ian McCall? And remember, this is a public podcast.
No, he's been absolutely brilliant with me. He really has. When he came back in the second time, he pulled me in his office instantly. This is his first day, and he gives you that belief that you're going to be one of his sort of main players, and he gets you, fighting for the cause really. And he's so good as well at building a squad. Some of the players he got to sign, absolutely amazing. So he's been instrumental in my career. And then, probably at a time where a wee bit shaky in terms of coming out from the Premiership the first time. The next couple of years were a bit rocky for us. He was that guy that built the club back up and got us back in a sort of upwards trajectory.
Yeah. And as I say, 8 titles and you've won 2 of them. That's not a bad chunk of Thistle's medal success, if you like. What does that title mean to you? Because there will never be one like it again for Partick Thistle Football Club.
You're right in saying it was strange. It was strange, but it was still a brilliant night when you win it, and we still felt that everybody was there cheering us on. It was a strange one because you knew they were up in the canal, and the scenes out in the street after the game, and especially coming from where we came from, we were up. Let's be honest, we were hopeless for probably. How many games did we play that year? 22, was it, in the league? 22 total. Yeah. Probably hopeless for about 15 of them. And went in a brilliant run towards the end. And luckily for us, Falkirk fell away a wee bit and we pipped them to the post. And that was a magic night in the end. But a bit gutted that it wouldn't have been in front of the big crowd, because I'm pretty sure if it was a crowd, it'd have been close to a sellout again.
Absolutely. That night. It'd be nice if there was a big crowd in for that free kick against Montrose as well.
It was nice, wasn't it? No, like me.
Belter. Absolutely.
I know. By the way, scored the free kick and I've not been back on them since, I don't think. Incredible.
After all that, I guess you're still only 31, but the story, it would be nice for the story to end, not to end necessarily, but for the next chapter of the story to be getting Partick Thistle back to the top flight. I guess that's a burning desire inside you.
Yeah, I really, I don't want to stop until I get that back. I feel back where we want to be. Been close the last couple of seasons. Obviously, the heartbreak at Dingwall, and you know what, that was a real sore one as well last year. I felt, we gave Wraith a right scare in that second game. Damage was probably done in the first leg in terms of being 2-0 down at home, especially when we get the big crowd. It probably shouldn't have happened. But we were a wee bit unlucky, I felt. A couple off the line in the away game, especially. And then it goes to penalties, and it is what it is. But so some 2 seasons we've taken it to penalty shootouts and been this close to maybe getting there. So this year we hopefully want to go one better.
Absolutely. I mean, won 7 out of 10 playoff games in 2 seasons. It's a hell of a record to not actually get over the line. But as you say, the finest margins. But is there anything else in your career that, before we talk about life after football, that you're eyeing achieving? What keeps you going at the moment?
I want to keep playing for as long as I can. I still feel as fit as ever. I want to play as many games as I can. Also a wee bit disappointed last year, probably towards the end of the season was the first time I've been sort of out the team. So I was disappointed in that sense, but try to get myself back in that team towards the end of the season and keep proving that, I should be playing. And that's the sort of drive for me to keep going. I still think I've got plenty left. As you said, only 31. I'd love to get us back up again.
Yeah, still loads to offer on the pitch. Your off the pitch influence though is apparent, especially when you talk to the likes of Ben Stanley, a young player of the year last year, who always comments about what a mentor you are for him. How do you help a player like Ben Stanley, and what do you see in him in terms of his potential?
I thought he was excellent last year in a lot of the games. I try and not be too sort of put too much on them. I try and just give them a wee guide every now and again, a wee quiet word here or there, and try and show just in my training and my playing, what the path should be like, if you get me, just by examples. But Ben's an unbelievable trainer. He trains at probably the way he plays in terms of snapping into tackles. He's really good on the ball. He's got a hell of a lot of potential. For a first year, thought he'd done done pretty well. I don't know how many games he played. I would be surprised if it wasn't 30 odd or more, which I think he would have taken at the start of last season. But now it's for him to build on that and try and go further and further.
Yep.
But he's a cracking boy.
Yep. Life after football. You're already helping with the academy.
Mm-hmm.
What are your aspirations once the boots are finally hung up?
It's a tough one, Welshie. No sure. And that's the uncertainty really at all. Been in the game for 15 years now. It's all you kind of know. So a wee bit of a worry, truth be told. Not quite sure what to do. But I'm helping out with the 18s. Helped out last year, just coming in every now and again. But I'm now helping out properly this year with them. See if I enjoy that. I like working with the younger boys. And
yep.
I've been through their path and I know exactly what they're feeling and how to try and get into that first team. So if I can help a few of them, that'll be grand.
Yeah. Seems like a really good fit. You've also, as announced last night, as this podcast is recorded, been confirmed as a assistant on the... I'm going to go there. I just want to ask you if you're recruited to help with the Lawless Premier Coaching Academy, does that mean Steve is your boss?
It does, aye. He sent me stuff last night. Basically, he was announcing it last night on his Instagram. And he texts me saying, "What photo do you want to use?" I just told him,
the bleeper's coming out.
Honestly, I told him, just get to take the piss at me with my old long hair and it was wiry and all that. I says, get to. But no, listen, helping him out. He's done a brilliant job with that so far. Looking to sort of branch out a wee bit and get a few professionals in to help him out. So I will see if I enjoy it.
I think there probably needs at some point to be an episode when it's the two of you sat together, because you're quite remarkable the way you talk to each other. How you've been good friends for a long time. You obviously got a lot of respect for each other on and off the pitch, but sum up Steven Lawless for me.
I can't really describe him. I just think he's funny. We're always non-stop with each other, back and forth, and that's every day, even this morning, for hours there. But he was brilliant. See, a few boys were at my testimonial events, and he basically stole the show, didn't he?
Aye.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, some of the stuff he came out with. A comedy act, but I'm hoping he's not wanting me to do that for his testimonial. I'm not as funny.
The stage is yours.
I'm not as funny as him, no, let's be honest. He's
funny, it's
a good duo, I know.
It's all about getting him up after the optimum number of pints. Not too early, not too late, because you both have a danger. Just after the right amount. So
he's steaming after two, big man, but he can hold it. Hold it well.
That's why I get him up after one.
I know he can hold it well. But no, he's hilarious. A good guy.
Aye, and that'll mean a lot to you when he does finally come back in the pitch.
Absolutely, aye. Of course, I thought last year probably from July to October, arguably probably the best player in the division at the time in terms of a lot of the goals and assists he was doing. His overall play, I thought he was brilliant for that spell. So he's a big loss, especially in that right hand side. He had a great relationship with Jack. So I was talking to get him back, but it's about making sure he builds up the now and no rushing it.
He needs to get back for the football, but he needs to get fit. There's a big date next June involving your good self as well.
Off. Do you see my face?
No, the camera was on me when you. So
I was thinking about football. I was thinking, I don't think I've got a contract for next year. Yes,
June the 6th.
June the 6th. Yep, get married. Yep, at Cornhill Castle. So that'll be a cracking day.
Brilliant. How long have you known Kathleen?
We were 2016 October. So what would that have been? What's that now? 8 years or something coming up. 8 years.
Stuff.
Aye. She's a cracker.
Aye, well, that's all you need to say. That's beautiful stuff. It had to be mentioned, of course. Finally, probably last sort of question, just amongst all the accolades, the medals, the testimonial, the awards, the songs, the goals, the Jags Foundation pin, perhaps most of all, the Hall of Fame entry, amongst all that, your relationship with the fans, still chanting your name to this day. It's very special, isn't it?
Yeah, I always thank them massively. They could have easily probably turned against me. Not turned against me, but you know what I mean, been out for so long and coming back, it was a special moment talking about the fans. I remember coming on for my first game back at Morton, here against Morton. And the ovation I got that day, just coming on the park, a real special moment. I remember, I think my mum and Kathleen were there at the game. Couldn't believe it. So, brilliant moment. Brilliant.
Fantastic. And we started, well, I started talking about season tickets at the start. We'll finish on that subject. We all want to see the place absolutely rocking like it has been when the obviously the Premier Sports Cup ties, but more so the league campaign kicks off in early August. And it's not a cliche to say they are genuinely the 12th man, especially, well, at home and away, but we want to see Firhill full, and you endorse that message. If fans can afford it, get your season ticket as soon as possible.
100%. I think you can see it's definitely been building on it for the last probably 2 or 3 years. You can sense that. So if we can keep building that up and getting the big crowds that we get, I know the playoff games are a bit different, that maybe extra people come to the games or whatever, but if we can get close to that for a lot of the games, it will make a massive difference. And the players 100% notice it when they're out in the playoff feeling games. It's something a bit different in it.
And thinking about that, you've grown up with a lot of these, because we're talking about the under 16 goes free. That was, when you started your career, you've probably got photos with a lot of fans who were wee boys at that point who are now leading the charge, especially behind the goal. So that just shows you that that initiative is worked, but hand in hand, your relationship with them has kind of just grown and grown and grown as the season's gone, because you've been together all the way.
Basically, I think so. I think for a lot of the young kids, I've been there for the full, probably Thistle supporting life, really.
That's right.
But it's been a brilliant initiative, innit? It's worked
amazing.
A lot of these guys now are all best pals. You go home and away, and it's a sort of family feel at it. And a weekend they can go and enjoy themselves. So it's certainly worked, and hopefully we can keep building it.
Yeah. And maybe when you do finally hang up the boots, we'll get you in the bus with one of the away days. And
I've been told I need to go to Munns pretty soon, and I've been told that for a pint. I've been in a couple of times. Collected my pin there.
That's right.
So I need to try and go in and get a wee pint.
Sounds like a perfect way to finish. Stuart Bannigan, thank you very much. What a chat that was. Thanks very much for your time, and here's to a successful year ahead on and off the park for you and yours.
Brilliant. Thanks, Welshie. Thanks, mate.
No problem. And thanks also to the fans for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please do share any feedback and visit the Fanbase app or the Partick Thistle website for season ticket information. And we'll see you next week for episode 2. Thank you. On the Jags.